Greetings and welcome to CSA's Hometown Heroes 2020. I am Bruce Humphrey, CSA board member, and on behalf of Tom Myers, Executive Director CSA, and Rose Baldwin, Board President CSA, it is my honor to officially welcome you to our very first virtual event. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Tom and Rose, your MCs for this celebration.
Thank you, Bruce. As many of you know, Hometown Heroes is CSA's annual celebration of those who make our community a better and fairer place to live. My name is Tom Myers. I'm the Executive Director of Community Services Agency, and I've been with CSA for the last 21 years. I'm happy to have Rose Baldwin with me as we celebrate with all of you in this new virtual format.
Thank you for having me, Tom. Hi, I'm Rose Baldwin, Board President and a huge fan of CSA. Thank you for all attending, and thank you for our amazing sponsors. We have our lead sponsors at Google and LinkedIn, our premier sponsor El Camino Healthcare District, and our community sponsors Foothill Congregational Church, Grace Star Development, Schwabe, Williamson, and Wyatt. In addition to dozens more who are supporting us at all different levels, including Thomas and Karen Smith, Home Instead Senior Care, William and Danielle James, Eugene Fram, Diane Schmidt and Jeff Vadiz, Recology, Mountain View, Los Altos United Methodist Church, the Myers family, Sereno 1% for Good, Christ Episcopal Los Altos, Young, Craig and Company, and our media sponsor, the Los Altos Town Crier. Additionally, we have the following individuals and families sponsoring a virtual table: David and Mary Arnone, Rose and Dave Baldwin, City of Los Altos City Hall, Jolie and Ben Crozan, Paul Davis and Jade Thuma, Nancy Grippo, Hopkins Carley Law Firm, Chris Young, Mountain View PD, Dan Rich, Stephen Sullivan, Karen and Paul Van Buren. Check out the rolling ticker below for a rolling list of shout-outs for your very own Hometown Heroes. These are people and organizations that were submitted by people like you in the community. Keep your eyes posted. Maybe somebody nominated you.
Yes, please keep your eyes and ears open as we celebrate all the wonderful heroes among us. As everyone knows, the last year has brought on some extraordinary challenges to our community, and no doubt we've all risen together to meet these challenges. COVID-19 has highlighted many of the underlying inequity issues in our communities, and here at CSA, the demand for our services has been greater than ever. Aside from the very dire perils of the virus itself, many local residents were, and continue to be, faced with the loss of livelihood, increased food insecurity, increased risk of homelessness, and much, much more. The unhoused and the senior populations were particularly at risk of this potent virus. But the community stepped up, and in an amazing way that has meant so much and so incredible to watch. Seeing that gave us at CSA so much hope and inspiration.
That's why we will be honoring the caring communities of Mountain View and Los Altos. And yes, that means you. Whether you volunteered, donated, or did what you could, you made a difference in how this community banded together in a time of uncertainty to protect and uplift the most vulnerable.
We'll also be honoring the Foothills Congregational Church and Tom Smith, who has been a stalwart member of the community and advocate for CSA for many, many years.
And we are so very grateful.
Well, without further ado, let's get started on our program. On with the show. We know we haven't seen many of our supporters and neighbors in a long time due to the pandemic, but we thought it might be nice to take everyone on a tour of CSA to refresh our memories and to learn more about what it is that we do. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Community Services Agency, a nonprofit community-based organization. We've been servicing clients of residents of Mountain View, Los Altos and Los Altos Hills since 1957. We started as servicing migrant farm workers and now service low-income and unhoused individuals and seniors in our community. My name is Eunice Cibrian Pelayo, and I'm the Community and Public Relations Coordinator, and I've been with CSA for about 4 years now. Let me show you around. Community Services Agency is part of the Emergency Assistance Network, where we provide services to prevent homelessness, utility disconnection, and hunger. One of the ways that we prevent homelessness is by offering holistic case management. For example, we give our clients bikes for access to transportation, hygiene kits. We also have a Dignity on Wheels partnership where we offer showers for our unhoused every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's go ahead and begin the tour. Here we have our unhoused case manager, Janice Bonello. Here you'll see our homeless prevention department. We have our emergency assistance homeless prevention case manager, Kimberly De Vuelta Marquez, who helps with utility disconnect, rental cases, and then our low-cost transportation program. During normal times, you would see this with our mobile school food pantries. We do go out during normal times to our Title I schools. Right now, we're doing these for our homebound food deliveries. Here we have our senior services department. We service seniors that are homebound 60 years and older with medical advocacy, transportation coordination, or food bag deliveries. Here we have our Food and Nutrition Center, where staff and volunteers sort approximately 6,000 pounds of produce a week and 4,000 pounds of dry goods. On the other side, we have our Food and Nutrition Pantry. Currently, our hours due to the pandemic are limited. We are offering our pantry hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. For our unhoused clients, we have already made meals. Our unhoused clients do have access to the microwave here, which they're able to warm up their food and get ready to go. To ensure the safety of our clients, we've taken our food pantry outdoors. Here we have our Food and Nutrition Program Director, Christine Flego.
So this is our Friday Family Day here at the pantry. We try and provide additional resources for those families that have children especially. Our food distributions on average have served a few hundred households a week, many of which are large families with children. In addition to that, we've been doing a lot of home deliveries for our senior clients. It's been a challenging time right now to figure out how much food and what we need to actually provide to our community. But we've had the generous support of all of our donors out there. And we couldn't do what we do every day without those resources. And that also includes the generosity of people giving of their time, like our volunteers that are out here today, to make everything happen.
Thank you, Christine, for sharing that with us. Let's go ahead and see some of the food items that we're distributing. During normal times, we let our clients go ahead and select the items that they prefer to take. Unfortunately, they don't have this luxury right now. We do have to think of our client's safety. Right now, all items are pre-bagged. Volunteer here will place the pre-bagged item onto the table. A client will step here, wait. The volunteer will step back. The client will move forward and take their food items with them. CSA is really proud to have risen to the challenge during COVID-19 to support our community. And in return, our community has truly supported CSA. We thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to seeing you in our community.
Wow, Tom, hundreds of clients every day. Talk about impact.
CSA is so proud that we can serve the strong and resilient communities of Mountain View and Los Altos. We couldn't do it without our generous supporters who step up for those struggling in our community. Well, now that you've seen the behind the scenes, let's hear from some of our community members who have seen firsthand CSA in action.
The services that I'm using with CSA are food delivery, which I greatly appreciate, and my favorite is being able to talk to the CSA agent, Myra. She is so wonderful. It's my contact to the outside world. CSA Services has had a very large impact on my life, inasmuch as the avoidance of anxiety. I'm a very positive person, but yet I cannot help the ins and outs of certain days where the anxiety tends to grow a little bit more. And when Myra talks to me, I feel so wonderful with the anticipation of her calling, during the call, and after the call. And then, of course, just the idea of food being delivered to me, because I have not worked since March 8th. Some people call me a health nut. I am plagued with arthritis and a lot of pain, but I still like to eat healthy food. And food is not cheap, and CSA has blessed me with wonderful, wonderful, healthy food. CSA is doing the most wonderful service to me personally, and I can only assume that they're doing a really wonderful service to many, many others. I could talk forever on how much I really, really appreciate everything that CSA has done for me. It's all a very positive. In the matter of other people that are maybe a little shy about contacting CSA, I would reach out to them and recommend that they definitely do so, because you're all about doing good things for others. If you're afraid, don't be afraid. Reach out and they will listen and they will help you in every possible way. I've experienced it and I know it to be true.
It's great to hear that those who receive our services feel supported and feel that they belong to a caring community. Hey, Mountain View and Los Altos, together we really are making a stronger community. It's imperative to keep that going as the need grows.
It's incredibly moving to hear Richard's story. Now let's hear from some of CSA's longtime partners on why they support CSA.
To start off, I'd like to read a statement from one of our lead sponsors. This is the statement from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a proud partner with CSA to help low-income and homeless individuals and families access safety net services. This year, in particular, has been a difficult one for our entire community, and the work that CSA is doing is making a huge difference. On behalf of LinkedIn, congratulations to the 2020 honorees and to the many people working behind the scenes to help the most vulnerable people of our community. You are all hometown heroes. Thank you.
I'd also like to read a statement from El Camino Healthcare District. At El Camino Health and El Camino Healthcare District, we know CSA of Mountain View and Los Altos is a critical service provider for our community's most vulnerable members. We have been proud to partner with CSA in addressing the health needs of our community for the past 8 years. CSA has been instrumental in helping stabilize families during the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to supporting Hometown Heroes, our community benefit programs fund grants for senior intensive case management and pre-diabetes prevention. The intensive case management program has served over 900 older adults to prevent rehospitalization and enable them to live independently in their homes. The Pre-Diabetes Collaborative is an innovative partnership between CSA and 3 other local agencies that addresses the county's 46% prevalence of pre-diabetes and undiagnosed diabetes. Our investments in such a trusted community partner have significantly impacted nearly 5,000 CSA clients with over 67,000 services. We'd like to share a remark from a client that was shared with us. CSA is a wonderful organization and so helpful. You are all so caring. We seniors are sometimes forgotten in the community. I'm in good hands thanks to you and your team. CSA is so effective and compassionate in responding to the growing and changing needs of our community's most at-risk members. Thank you, CSA of Mountain View and Los Altos. We here at CSA truly appreciate the partnership and support of El Camino Healthcare District and are so touched by their kind words. We also would like to thank Google, a lead sponsor for this event, and for the many ways they have supported the community.
For over 10 years, Google has been a proud sponsor of CSA's Hometown Heroes and other events like our Back to School Drive and our Holiday Sharing Program, as well as contributing major funding to the Mountain View Rent Relief Program. Google's employees contributed thousands of hours in group volunteer activities to all of our programs. Google was also instrumental in funding the Inspire Mountain View initiative several years ago, which provided significant funding to CSA, which helped us launch our community distribution of food in local schools. As if that weren't enough, the company also shared an employee with us for up to 10 hours a week to help us plan and implement programs that we would otherwise not have been able to have the resources to do. Enter Julia Carr, who helped us create and launch the Young Professionals program, and a whole host of volunteers who did a professional video of the agency and assisted in other ways. Google is hands-on, and that's for sure.
Thanks, Tom. We're so thankful to have partners like LinkedIn, El Camino, and Google. Speaking of Google, that makes me think of our Young Professionals group. You know, Tom, our Young Professionals group was started by a Google employee and has since expanded to include employees from other organizations and companies. Here to talk more about this dynamic CSA group is this year's chair, Jocelyn Baird from Recology Mountain View.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Baird, and I'm this year's lead of the CSA Young Professionals organization. CSA Young Professionals is a group that supports CSA. It's made up of folks in their 20s, 30s, 40s, folks who care about the issues of hunger, poverty, and homelessness in our community, which CSA does so much work to address. And we basically support CSA through volunteering. We organize small fundraisers, we table at events, and we act as general ambassadors in the community. Personally, I got involved in CSAYP 2-ish years ago. The group formed in 2017, and it was actually at Hometown Heroes, this exact event, 2 or so years ago, that I heard about the group. And for me, I'm a lifelong resident of Mountain View, born and raised. I love this city, and I had kind of been thinking that I wanted to get more involved, but I didn't really know how. There's so many different groups you could join or issues you could try and get involved with. And what really spoke to me about CSA is it just really seemed like it connected with the heart of the community. I mean, hunger, poverty, homelessness, those issues are important to everybody. And CSA is such an institution. It's been around 60 plus years and has helped so many people that I was just instantly drawn to it. And so I really enjoyed getting more involved, volunteering at events, tabling, getting to know more about all the wonderful programs that CSA offers. I remember one gentleman I was talking to, I started telling him about how CSA offers assistance for seniors to get to their medical appointments. And he was saying, he's like, oh my God, I wish I'd known about that sooner. I have an elderly neighbor who I know is struggling with this. And so because of our conversation, because of that involvement, he was able to take some information away to go bring to his neighbor and refer her to CSA so that she could be yet another person that CSA helps improve their everyday lives. And that's the kind of involvement that I really want to encourage people to join CSAYP for, because I mean, it's so easy to table at a farmer's market, to have conversations with people, to say, hey, do you know about CSA? Because you should, here's what they're about. It's just such a fun, connected way to give back to your community. And so I really want to encourage anyone out there who's interested in CSAYP, thinking about joining, or even if you just want more information, please reach out to us. We have monthly meetings and then volunteer events as they come up. And we're always happy to chat, always growing, always taking new members. So you can send us an email at yp@csacares.org or find us on the website, and we'd love to have you.
Let's give it up for our hardworking Young Professionals group. It's so inspiring to see people of all ages and backgrounds come together to support CSA. Folks, we can't tell you how inspiring it really is.
In addition to our young professionals supporting CSA, we also have many volunteers who are really the backbone of our programs and all of the hours that they put in. One volunteer in particular is Matthew, who has been a CSA volunteer for 5 years. Matthew has been instrumental in supporting CSA's food program. Let's hear about what Matthew does as part of the CSA team.
My name is Matthew Burke. I started volunteering 5 years ago with the CSA. My family moved down here about 6 years ago. We started looking for opportunities, I started looking for an opportunity to volunteer shortly after arriving, once we had things kind of settled down. And I picked CSA as one of the main options because food security is important to me. And in the flexibility of the hours that we were offering, the ability to volunteer in the weekend was important to me because during the week I just didn't have available time. So the Sunday farmers market collection was an ideal time and opportunity for me to start volunteering. As the lead volunteer, when we get new volunteers from La Drea, my job is to help induct them into the process. So I give them the specifics of where we meet, when we meet, the fact that we have to wear closed-toed shoes, for example, wearing comfortable clothing, kind of give them the background of there, and then the duration of the actual activity. When they show up the day of volunteering, meet and greet obviously, get them used to what we do, how we go through the collection, distribution of the bins and collection of the bins, right back to how we stock the walk-in fridge and sign in for our hours here. On Sundays, what we have in Mountain View, there's a weekly farmers market, rain or shine, every week of the year, Easter, Christmas, every day of the year. So you'll have mostly kind of produce farmers, but there's also some prepared food vendors as well. And so these farmers come and they sell their goods at that market to anyone that shows up. The actual group that runs the market have to have an outlet for excess food that can be used for food banks and whatnot. So we fill that need for them. We bring that food back here on Sunday, and that gets used in the pantry during the week and helps offset the need that we have from the main food bank. I think the role that we play here at CSA is often, it's an invisible role to a lot of people, but I think it's incredibly important, especially in the climate we have right now where people are losing their jobs. It's important to know that these groups and teams exist to help people that are on the margins of society and can't actually help themselves in some cases. And not that they're not willing, but they find themselves in situations either with COVID, rent prices. So I think it's important to at least acknowledge that the need is there and then help where you can.
Matthew is among hundreds of volunteers that have dedicated their time and talents to help us carry out our mission. In the past year, we've had over 500 volunteers who contributed to helping our communities, and we could not have done it without them. If you would like to join us in volunteering, please reach out to CSA anytime.
In addition to volunteers and donors, a major part of CSA is our staff. Our dedicated staff have consistently stepped up to the plate and are so dedicated to serving the community. One thing I tell our staff is you don't just work for Community Services Agency, you work for the community. As the Executive Director, one of the things that I am most proud of is our staff diversity, which enables us to serve clients in a culturally responsive way. Let's hear from some of our clients who have worked with our bilingual staff.
我是吴女士，我来自中国。我3年前呢，到了三井城的老年公寓来住。听那里，因为那里有很多都是中国人，老太太、老爷子们。听说呢，三井城呢，社区服务机构可以领免费食品。三井城呢，也来了一个个案的处理员，会说中文，说可以带老年人呢去看病，可以办很多的福利。我当时听了真是很高兴，我正在愁呢，我要做个妇科检查，我又不会英文，这可怎么办？我就想着就上这个机构里来，这个办公室找这个工作人员，这工作人员名字叫苏菲亚。后来我就跟苏菲亚老师把我个人的情绪和情况和生活的状态，苏老师呢就安慰了我。就帮助我去了看医生，看了妇科检查，得定时间，很麻烦的了，可是都完成了。这是第二，他给我们那个公寓里好几个人办免费的月票，订车去看医生，像这些事情太多了，我举不胜举。这个社区是天使的工作，尤其是目前这个冠状病毒的流行期间，他们给无法外出的老年人送去食品和关怀，真是天使在人间。
Mi nombre es José Luis Hernández Herrera. Me conecté con el señor Center, aquí en Mountain Principalmente como yo soy diabético, empecé con un problema de los pies que no me querían dar los doctores. Y vine aquí con ustedes y ustedes lograron que me pusieran la atención de vida y estoy muy satisfecho y estoy bastante protegido. Mayra ha sido bastante amable y bastante consciente de lo mucho que ella checa y me pregunta constantemente al respecto de qué cosa me hace falta, cómo me siento y me tiene bastante tranquilo porque me hace saber que no estoy solo. Quiero que se sepa que esta agencia está consagrada a ayudar a toda la gente que necesitamos ayuda y nos hacen sentir bastante seguros de que no estamos solos y que de cualquier cosa que se nos ofrezca nos comunicamos con ellos y ellos resuelven los casos. Quiero añadir que me siento bastante complacido y me siento bastante agradecido de la manera que aquí todos nos toman en cuenta y nos cuidan y nos protegen y nos dan la ayuda que nosotros pidamos. Gracias.
It's wonderful to hear firsthand how CSA services are accessible to so many in our community. It's truly an honor to be a part of an organization that values diversity and inclusion.
Thank you, Rose. We are so lucky to have such great staff and volunteers. Without further ado, I would like to present our Hometown Heroes Awards to our recipients who, like our volunteers and staff, have really made an impact on the community. These recipients have really exemplified what it means to rise to the challenge. First, we have Tom Smith, who embodies the best of community volunteerism and leadership. Tom is a past board member and a past board president of CSA and continues to support our audit and development committees.
So in 2011, I joined the board and I've served 2 terms through into 2017. Was actually chair of the board in 2015 and 16. So it's been the last 10 years that I've been gainfully involved, and since I got off the board, I couldn't quit. So I have been for the last 3 years on the audit committee, and that's been very enlightening and shown me from a financial standpoint the strength of CSA and where we are and where we need to go. You know, it's great to be honored as the hometown hero, and looking back at those that have received the award in the past, I'm very honored. But the real heroes here are not myself or those that even came before me. It's the staff at CSA and the work that's being done day to day by the caseworkers. It's just so heartwarming to see their compassion and dedication for what they're doing, and the need is so strong, not just for fundraising for this year, but in the future. And Karen and I, my wife, we have named CSA in our estate plan as a beneficiary. Give some serious thought to, in your own estate plan, in your own will, to making a CSA a beneficiary. It would mean everything and would allow the staff to continue the work and fund so many things that currently can't be just because of limited budgets.
Next, we have the caring communities of Mountain View and Los Altos. All of the communities that we serve stepped up to the plate and contributed in one way or another, and each of the city councils in Mountain View, Los Altos, and Los Altos Hills contributed financially to support programs for their residents. The biggest of these contributions came from the City of Mountain View, which contributed $2.8 million to rent relief. Through CSA's efforts, we were able to leverage that, and we were able to raise an additional $1.2 million to that same rent relief effort, bringing the total rent relief amount for the Mountain View program to nearly $4 million. A truly amazing feat for a city the size of Mountain View and for an organization the size of CSA. Here to tell us more is Mountain View's Mayor, Margaret Abe Koga.
When we first were given the shelter-in-place order, we immediately began to hear from our community, our residents who were struggling to pay for their rents, our small businesses who were struggling to stay open. And I knew, or I assumed that the larger assistance from the state and the federal government would come, but it would take time. And so that's where I felt that the benefit of being in local government, we could provide local assistance immediately. And so we just got right to work, and with our staff began to work on these relief efforts for our community. What I really appreciate is the partnerships that we've been able to make with nonprofits like CSA, as well as our businesses. And our Small Business Resiliency Program came out of such a partnership with one of our major corporations in Mountain View, providing grant funding. And so we created this program of microloans to help businesses again be able to pay some of their bills and try to weather the storm of COVID. Now, we're now a mid-sized city, but with a big heart, and we do what we can. It's what our community, I think, expects of us, and I believe our city government, our organization, does our best to rise to the occasion. What's been so gratifying for me is to see that as much as there is need for assistance, there have been so many folks who have come up asking how we can help. And I think that is really the beauty of our community and what makes Mountain View so great. And because of that, and because of just the innovation, the environment here, the mindset of our residents, I know that we're going to be able to rebound and rebound well. And frankly, we may end up coming out in a better situation. So I'm very excited about that.
And finally, we have Foothills Congregational Church. Accepting on their behalf is Pastor Chris Breedlove.
Well, it's a great affirmation in our congregation. You know, it's such a joy to partner with people of good conscience and people wanting to do good in our community. And so it's an affirmation to be acknowledged, and it's also a celebration, you know, that we can do more together than what we can do individually. So I see this as a great cause for celebration for our congregation, and being a part of CSA with the other communities of faith and nonprofit organizations and individuals, you know, gracious, generous individuals. It's a natural fit, and we feel very fortunate. You know, our connection goes back a long way. We were talking just a bit before about Gene Taylor. There's also Richard Mall, Laurel Weeks, our outreach board at the church. You know, since the conception of the church itself, going back to around 1957, and there's been a concern for the community that the church is a part of. And especially in these recent years that we find ourselves in with runaway economic inequality, pairing up with an organization like Community Service Agency is essential. And so that long history that we have with Community Service Agency is one of those ways that we can manifest our love for our community and put our faith to work. There's so much wherewithal in this area, and you know, that spills over to the church, and you know, the residents of Mountain View and Los Altos, the leadership of these two wonderful cities, and also to Los Altos Hills and Sunnyvale. You know, all these wonderful communities in this area. You know, there's just a lot of wherewithal, and so that innovation, that ability, that generosity. It's such a privilege to pastor in this area and to pastor a congregation that has such talented membership and also compassion, you know, great compassion. I think one of the challenges of this area is that we have such great innovation and wherewithal, and sometimes for our more marginal members, it's easy to fall through the cracks, which underscores the importance of having safety nets and lifelines like Community Service Agency, and which underscores the need for communities of faith to partner with organizations like this, because we don't want to see people fall through the cracks. You know, we care about this community, we care about our neighbors. And so what we're doing here at Community Service Agency and the groups that are working through Community Service Agency really is a great and capable help for people that need that help. You know, also food insecurity, shelter insecurity, all these things are so important to Community Service Agency and our church as well. And so what we learn through partnering with Community Service Agency is that we can do more together than what we can do by ourselves. So that's an important lesson. It's the camaraderie, it's the friendship, it's the affirmation of human dignity that we're involved in. And this is why I think, you know, receiving this Hometown Heroes acknowledgement is such a wonderful thing and very encouraging to a small church like Foothills Congregational Church, where we very much appreciate a community service agency, and we enjoy partnering with CSA.
We are so grateful to have the partnership with Foothills Congregational Church. Over the years, we have worked side by side to bring awareness and programming to our underserved, but in addition, Foothills Congregational Church is also sharing the wonderful gift of music with us. I'd like to introduce the Foothills Congregational Church Choir as they sing for us their rendition of Part of the Family.
Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family. You know the reason why you came, yet no reason can explain. So share in the laughter and cry in the pain, for you are a part of the family.
God is with us in this place, like a mother's warm embrace. We're all forgiven by God's grace, for we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family. Children and elders, middlers and teens, singles and doubles and in-betweens, strong 85ers and streetwise 16s, we are a part of the family.
Greeters and shoppers, long time and new, nobody here has a claim on a pew, and whether we're many or only a few, we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family. Come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. We are lost and we are found, and we are a part of the family.
We are a part of the family.
We are a part of the family. We are a part of the family.
That was so inspiring. We would like to extend a big thank you to the members of the Foothills Congregational Church Choir. And though they can't hear from all of us, I'd like to give them a big round of applause. Before I turn the program over to Bruce Humphrey to take us through the next part of the event, I'd like to celebrate another hometown hero, Tom Myers, CSA Executive Director. In honor of Tom, I'd like to read a message from the CSA board and staff. Tom, on behalf of the CSA board, staff, clients, and the community at large, thank you for your leadership during this time of great uncertainty. You kept a firm hold of the helm with dignity and grace when COVID-19 required that the agency transform overnight. You spent tireless days, evenings, and weekends to ensure that CSA had the resources to meet increased community needs. And you did so with your inimitable mix of humility, flexibility, and humor. Thank you, Tom, for being a community treasure and a community icon.
Well, first of all, let me say that I am completely surprised by this. I want to say thank you to the CSA board. It is genuinely humbling to hear that kind of praise, and very appreciative of it. I think that any gratitude or any praise toward me, though, is really praise for the agency, the staff of this organization, this great organization that we all love. It's really more than just a fantastic staff. It's a group of hundreds of volunteers and in a community that has supported and helped CSA to thrive in serving our clients for over 60 years. I'm very proud of my association with CSA, which is the reason I've been here for 20 years, 21 years actually. And I'm very, very proud of the staff and all of the volunteers, from the board to the food workers to those who are out in the streets doing the outreach. This is a truly amazing organization, and our community should be very, very proud of the fact that we have such a community treasure like CSA. So when I say thank you to Rose for those kind words, I'm actually saying thank you for the kind words that are a reflection of this amazing organization.
Next, I would like to reintroduce Bruce Humphrey, who is also a CSA board member. Bruce has been actively committed to our communities for decades, and now I'd like to turn it over to Bruce to share a little bit more about why he is involved in CSA.
Wow, what a great program this evening. I just want to let you know how proud I am to be part of this community. Community Services Agency is able to do its important work by supporting our most vulnerable because of the hope, inspiration, and support that you, the community, provide. And we know we can't do it alone. Without your support, we would not be able to carry on the way we have during this heightened time of need. So, if you have the means, please head to csacares.org. I'll say it again, csacares.org, to make a contribution, or consider making a contribution when you can. Your generosity helps CSA provide those services we saw earlier. Very, very important services like senior support and grocery delivery, our food pantry, mobile showers, diabetic support, and many, many more that preserves the dignity of our clients. If you can't contribute financially, there are many other ways to get involved. Visit our website anytime and join the CSA family. Finally, all of us at CSA just want to say thank you. Thank you to the awesome communities of Mountain View and Los Altos for your care, your compassion, your strength, and your resilience under great pressure. 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us, but never forget that together we are strong. Thank you. Thank you for your supporting CSA, where community is our first name. Now back to Tom for closing remarks.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our program. Once again, we wanted to thank you all for watching and for all the work that you've done and the way this community has really come together. This program really is dedicated to all of you. Thank you to our hometown heroes, both the heroes we've honored here and all the heroes that folks at home have nominated. We stand with you, and we will get through 2020 together. Thank you.